All right, YouTube, I'm going to go over one last prep guide. Sorry to post this for the third time, but Bungie changes a lot of things before every expansion, and it's just it's always a last minute thing. This should be the last final thing that you need. This should be like all the basic info, the stuff that's important to get you ready for the raid race. If you enjoy this, it's helpful, make sure to leave a like on it and consider subscribing. You always change your mind later. Also, come check us out on Twitch, because we'll always have the latest and greatest information over here when it comes to getting ready for the raid. The biggest thing that changed is those mystical, magical little Zer boxes. So with the Witch Queen, you might have seen a bajillion videos probably telling you to save a ton of these Zer boxes, which I started saving. Haven't gotten a ton yet, which is okay, because now you don't really need them. But initially, people had thought these Paraversal Halls were going to help you go from 1350 to 1500, which is that soft cap range. Bungie blew it out of the water, stuck up the middle finger. You do the legendary campaign, you're gonna get a guaranteed set of 1520 gear on your character. You're also gonna get one of the new Witch Queen exotic armor pieces. All that leveling prep people told you about for soft cap does not really matter anymore. It really doesn't. Even if you're doing the campaign on normal, you're still going to get drops out of chests, which they kind of explain down here. It's double chest rewards if you do it on legendary, but you're still going to get rewards that help you level if you do it on normal, which will help you progress towards soft cap. So essentially, instead of you having to spend 2 hours on old content getting to soft cap before you do the campaign, and the reason for doing that is people didn't want to waste powerfuls previously. 1350 to 1500. That's your soft cap range. And your 1500 to 1550 range, that's your hard cap range. So essentially, if there is a powerful drop that comes from the campaign, if you waste it here, it can't be used here. And that is inefficient for leveling and could possibly screw you over for being as high of power as you need to be for the raid race. The likelihood of that is low, but it remains a possibility, and you want to remain as risk averse as possible. But now that again, if you're a hardcore player, you're going to do the legendary campaign anyways. I don't think it's going to be anything too monstrously difficult, because they said it's going to not be as hard as a Grandmaster or a solo dungeon. So that means if you spend a good amount of time like playing the game or you play with friends, you'll be able to do it. So you're gonna get that 1520 gear for free. And then all you have to focus on is going from 1520 to 1550. We have not got a confirmation yet on what the power level for the contest cap for the raid is gonna be. I assume it will be 1530. But that could be subject to change. So realistically, you won't have that much power leveling to do after you're done with the campaign. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't be ready for it. These Zer boxes that everybody keeps telling you to save. So people keep telling you to save it for this. You don't want to save it for that. What matters is here. The only utility might be here. Do not rely on it. Do not be deterministic in one direction. After I finish the campaign, I will be guaranteed 1520 armor, because I did the legendary, all missions. So all I need to do is go from 1500 to 1550. Say at any given point, I am at 15... let's just say 1525 for reference, okay? The combination of my armor and weapons puts me up to 1525 power. But let's just say my heavy weapon is at 1521. All my other pieces in my inventory are carrying it to this base power. Your base power is this number. You hold E on computer to show this. Your artifact, by the way, if you're new to the game, this does not count towards your leveling at all. It technically does for power level for activities, but do not worry about it. When I say base level, totally disregard this plus number. It's 8 points in total for every power, so 1 point in each slot equals 1 power here. Your base power is 1525, but your heavy weapon is 1521. In this instance, you would want to start opening those Zer boxes with the hope that you get a heavy to drop. If a heavy drops, it should be at 1525 power, which is a +4 increase, which could bring you up to 1526. And that is what we call min-maxing, or the +0 strat, because it's a +0 to whatever your total base power is. That's what those boxes might be used for. Again, do not be too deterministic about this because this might not work. They might change it. That is true. There might come a point in the campaign where you are so underleveled where you might need to do this min-maxing or +0 strat to get to a higher power so you can actually not get wrecked. The likelihood, I think, of that is low as long as you are leveling efficiently. So as far as preparations go, the main things that are still left on the table that will be beneficial to you regardless of what they do, unless they completely just delete all these bounties, is bounty prep. You want to have 63 bounties on every character. Remember that your quests and your bounties share space here. So if you have any quests, that's wasting bounty space. Again, general TLDR here is weeklies or anything that you see says XP++. It's 12,000 XP base. Dailies are 6,000 XP base and repeatables are 4,000. You can min-max this as much as you possibly want to. That choice is totally yours, but optimally you want to save as many bounties, as many weeklies and daily bounties as you can, because that'll give you the most XP. As far as where to save those from, don't save the Helm. Don't save Dreaming City and don't save Tangled Shore. Bounties from here and here are disappearing, and Dreaming City has never given normal XP rates that other bounties do. So you should be good to save bounties from any other planet or any other source other than the Gunsmith. Bungie did say that the Gunsmith bounties will be changing. You can save them if you want to take the risk of it, but some of those bounties that currently exist within the Gunsmith ecosystem will get deleted, so you basically take a chance at some of your bounties disappearing. At the end of the day, not that big of a deal. XP isn't hard to get, but as much as you can stockpile between now and Witch Queen will give you an advantage when you get the new artifact. So literally the plan is, and this has been the same way every season, could be subject to change. You want to start off Witch Queen by the first thing you want to do is get the seasonal artifact. As soon as you do that, hop on all 3 of your characters that you saved bounties for, rip them open. Ideally, if you saved enough, you should get to somewhere around, I think about rank 25, which will give you a huge head start on season pass rewards, as well as artifact mods to play around with. So you get to play with a lot of new toys. But remember, when you are turning in those bounties, you want to turn them in with a fire team. Because as you unlock these bonuses on the season pass here, that's like if you're in a fire team, your XP is just going to shoot through the roof. If you guys have not joined our Discord, I've been trying to pump that as much as possible. We've been creating community clans, which I'll link down in the description below too. I want to get you guys playing with each other. I want you guys to find fire teams that you like to play with and get some raids going, get some dungeons. Maybe you want to do some bounty prep with people. So when you're turning in those bounties, by the way, I guess Bungie's changing it to just be 10%. Make sure you put the ghost mod on that gives you increased XP gains, because that'll be a lot of XP lost if you don't do so. As far as weapon prep goes, I'm going to keep it very, very basic, because with the recent announcements with like Witch Queen and the Vidoc and stuff, it sounds like they're going to be putting a really strong emphasis on you prioritizing these new weapons. So I'm going to give you literally just like the top things that I'm going to be bringing in right away that I think are going to probably be good no matter what. Above all, the crown jewel of stuff you want on your weapons is blinding grenades. Blinding grenades, blinding grenades, blinding grenades. As long as the enemy's within the radius of detonation, if it takes effect, they're blinded for like 5 seconds. They won't shoot back. They'll just sit there dabbing. Okay, yeah, I know I'm going to hear this a lot. Aren't blinding nades getting nerfed? No. Yes and no. They're technically getting a damage nerf, but you don't use blinding grenades for the damage. Blinding grenades are good because you could shoot it into a huge group of enemies. None of them will shoot back. And with slide shot, every time I slide, I can become the Oprah Winfrey of blinding grenades, and you can shoot them everywhere. At least have one special grenade launcher with blinding grenades, whether it's slide shot ignition code, which is the crown jewel. Don't have the god roll yet, Sag. Or you can get this one from Strikes, or this one from the World Loot Pool. You can get it from Banshee or whatever. That's the thing about a lot of these weapons, is you don't even have to have a good roll for them to be really good utility. Make or break is different from weapon to weapon, but in this case, just having blinding grenades is really good. Have long range, have short range stuff ready to go. As far as SMG goes, this is my favorite. Fast fire sniper for burst damage, which is a lot of damage in a short period of time. The Aikilo sniper rifle. Again, if you guys are wondering where this stuff is from, you can just Google it. I'm not going to go over each of the loot sources here. Cartesian coordinate, ideally you want like Vorpal on here, and then you want either accelerated or liquid coils. I know particle won't be a thing next season, but I still think fusions will be a very solid option. You could use this, or you could use like Null Composure. As far as primaries go, the Eyes Luna with Headstone, if you're making a stasis build, absolutely insane. Cannot recommend it enough. You get this Night Watch from the new Light quest that you can pick up from, you can pick it up in the tower if you haven't gotten it already. It's like the third step on here. It takes like, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes max to go get. Best roll on the scout you can possibly get. Overflow, explosive payload. Explosive payload doesn't have any damage drop off whatsoever. You can literally hit people from 8 miles away and still get the same damage, pretty much. A kinetic sniper, you can kind of take your pick here. Succession is best in slot, in my opinion, because you can get Vorpal and Reconstruction. Tac Mag is best here, or you can use Appended. So when Reconstruction is procced, you'll get up to an 8 magazine here. Wither Horde. Choke points for spawns, sticking enemies for passive damage. This thing literally does it all. Probably my favorite exotic in the game. It is. You've probably seen me use it before if you've watched any of my videos. Again, particle isn't going to be a thing, but I still think RB is going to be a really solid option for like cracking shields and passive damage from a long ways away, since linears are really good in general. And then maybe just some sort of bow, whether you want to do an energy, or I prefer a kinetic slot one, and the accrued redemption is my favorite. Explosive head. No damage drop off from any distance. Any explosive perk, they all operate the same way. Now in the heavy slot, you have a lot of options for this slot in particular. I would have an Eager Edge Sword. I just got this other half. Totally your choice. If you want to zoom around, it might be useful. Maybe it's not your cup of tea, whatever. Galahorn. Rocket with a good amount of ammo. If you have double reserves, you get 9 rockets. And you give any teammates on your team that have legendary rockets, they'll get clusters on it. They'll get the cluster benefit. Sleeper Simulant. Lots of damage output over a long period of time. Very solid option. Tractor Cannon, really good for suppressing enemies, which might be really good for those Hive Guardians. We don't know yet, but we're definitely, this is going to be one of the first things I test out. And it debuffs them, so you literally can't go wrong either way. I would have a sword that is an Eager Edge. Falling Guillotine is the go-to there. Anarchy has been kind of trash since they nerfed the ammo, but if you're really ammo efficient and know how to use this thing correctly, you never get more damage than shooting just 2 at a time on an enemy. So never shoot one enemy with more than 2 anarchies, otherwise you're wasting ammo. If you have that in mind, there's a lot of other utility for this weapon, but a very good passive damage option. Any legendary rocket of your choosing. I just chose this one in general. I still have to go get an Adept Hothead next week when that drops. As long as you have a rocket on it with lasting impression, and then like alloy casing or impact casing, those are 2 best. This is just a really like boiled down version of some of the stuff I'm bringing in, because again, I really think there's going to be a strong emphasis on the new stuff and us building that stuff in the Forge. Guessing the stuff in advance is so difficult, but I know with these things on my tool belt, no matter what situation I'm in, I'll still be good. I almost forgot the biggest juicer magooser of them all. If you know, you know. Huckleberry. Okay? If you know, you know. Just trust. Pretty basic, guys. Since there will be an influx of new material types in Witch Queen, which is good, that way we can't stockpile too much, that leaves us with just basically 3 basic things that you really need. Enhancement Course, Glimmer, and Legendary Shards. Glimmer and Legendary Shards, basically you just get by playing. And now you're wondering, Sweat, why the hell do you have 50,000 ships in your inventory? It's a little thing I like to call Glimmer Storage. Welcome to the Glimmer Bank of America, where you invest and you can hold your Glimmer. More than 250,000 in your vault. There's a lot of different ways you can do this, but the 2 most efficient ways to do this are the Zavala's Authority ship, the Other Side Sparrow. If you don't have the Zavala's Authority ship, you can still get this Other Side Sparrow from playing Vanguard Strikes. So hurry and do that before that's gone. Again, these are both exactly the same, so I'm just going to use the other side for reference here. You put in 7,500 Glimmer and 5 Legendary Shards, and you can put it in your vault. You can put as many as you want in your vault. When I go to delete it, I get 5,000 Glimmer back and all my Legendary Shards that I put in. So it's a net loss of 2,500 Glimmer, but it allows you to store Glimmer in your vault, which you can't do anywhere else. Just in case you're not able to get Glimmer from the Material Exchange, which is moving from Spider to the Cryptarch in the tower here. In case you don't have enough materials for whatever exchange is available for Glimmer that day, this might be your saving grace. As far as storing Legendary Shards go, just playing like Strikes dungeons, literally just playing activities in the game. Crucible, it drops legendaries out the wazoo. So go in, put on there's a lot of ghost mods if you have them. You can get one for like enhancement cores for like strikes, and then these are the ones I'm referring to in particular. When you do like a Vanguard, Playlist Strike, or a Nightfall, it has a chance to drop an additional legendary. So like even just those extra 4 shards can make a difference if you're someone who's extremely low on those materials. You can play activities that will drop curated rolls, which will be like Last Wish has the Nation of Beasts hand cannon that drops curated, and you could go down the list. There's a bunch of different activities that drop curated items. When you delete them, you get a bunch of enhancement cores. One other storage method that you can use, which is really, really useful, more of like for an advanced player or somebody that plays a lot. You can do this with any exotic, by the way. I'm just going to grab one of these for reference. For me, I chose Aeons because when I go in my vault, I know exactly what these are for instead of having to hunt these out. So it's better to do this with just one exotic. So in order to masterwork the Aeons, you have to put in 3 Ascendant shards. But when I delete it, I will get my Enhancement Prisms back and 1 Ascendant shard and a couple of enhancement cores. So you do lose quite a bit of materials coming back out, but this is the only way in which you can save more than 10 Ascendant shards in your inventory and 10 in your Postmaster. If you're full in your inventory and your Postmaster, Masterwork and Exotic, again, you can choose whichever one you want. I chose Aeons because it's an easy visual for me. Masterwork them, stick them in there, and whenever you need an Ascendant shard, go delete them. The last thing you need is planetary materials. Right now, this exchanges that spider for, he'll either sell things for glimmer or legendary shards. This changes every day. It's totally random. This whole exchange will be moving to the Cryptarch in the tower since the Tangled Shore is being removed. But this stuff is going to be used for like masterworking your armor and weapons. With the new stuff in Witch Queen, you might have to use more of the new materials, but having a good stockpile of these definitely won't hurt. If you haven't done much prep, I would try to do between 500 to 1,000 of each material just to be safe. Because that way you have a nice little comfort pillow there. Pick your target raid character. For me, I think I'm going to play Titan. You want to start on your raid character because you have 2 weeks worth of powerfuls before the raid comes out. So you start on your raid character. You're going to get as high as you can power-wise before you transfer your weapons over to your next character. Your next character doesn't really matter. You can choose whatever 2 characters aren't your raid character. If you have a character that might be your backup raid character, you're gonna want to do that one second. So your backup raid character you do second if you want to have a backup. So you do all your warlock stuff, and then you transfer your highest weapons over your hunter. And after you do your hunter, you're basically waiting for the weekly reset. Next week, you're gonna start on your hunter, or for me, because again, whatever character. You're gonna start on your hunter, you're gonna get as high as you can on your hunter again, and then you're gonna transfer back over to your warlock. You're gonna use a little bit of that min-maxing that we talked about to get your power level, because when you transfer your weapons are gonna be way higher than your armor is. So you wanna use that min-maxing ability to get your armor boosted up before you start doing those powerfuls. And it'll be a lot more apparent, again, in like the Witch Queen stream if you guys come hang out. Just observe, and it really isn't, it's hard to explain, but it's really easy visualized. Start on your raid character, backup raid character, third character. When Tuesday weekly reset hits, you start on your third character, you go back to your backup character, and then you do your raid character last. Because that means whatever powerfuls that you do at the end, your raid character will be juiced. As long as you don't get completely awful RNG. That is the only stipulation in which you just get absolutely screwed. Isn't 3-2-1 more efficient? No. I'll explain why. So you're saying start on your character that you hate the most, aka Hunter for everybody, and go like this. And then go like this. When you get to the end of week 1, this will be my raid character. Let's just take 1 week for example here. If I start on my hunter and I go like this on week 1, let's just throw out theoretical numbers again. When I transfer my weapons over and then do all my powerfuls over again from character to character, by the end of the week, these are the numbers that I hit. I get to 1525 on my hunter, 1530 on my warlock, and 1535 on my titan. If I wanted to go back to my hunter and transfer the 1535 weapons back over, You could min-max. You could min-max, but you're not gonna get all the way up to 1535. You're not gonna get that high. It's not possible. If you've already exhausted all your powerful drops on your hunter, it's impossible to reach that same number. This is what I hit week 1. You're saying at the end of week 1, I would take this stuff and go back and min-max? There's no point to do it, because if I go back and min-max, let's just say I min-max my way up to 1528. It's still more efficient to do all your powerfuls starting on week 2, starting with this character since it's highest. So if I go and min-max, let's just say I get to 1537, and then I transfer that stuff to my warlock, and then my warlock gets to 1540, and then I transfer over to my hunter? Why would you not min-max then? You min-max after you juice out the powerfuls. You don't do it before. TLDR, you guys, trust me, I've done this research for years, and it's always been, it's been the same thing year after, or expansion after expansion. Start on your raid character, go to your backup character, and then go to your character you don't care about. Week 2, go to your character you don't care about again, juice them up. Min-max over to your backup character, and then do your raid character last. That's one more thing if you want to add to your prep list. This isn't guaranteed or like needed, like you need it. If you want to get a lot of the new raid juice, I assume you'll be able to use spoils within it. So if you want to stockpile 240 spoils and then summon your postmaster, you can do that.